Hello and welcome along to the MotoGP Fantasy Preview for the Spanish GP. That's right, we're heading to Jerez for round 6 of the MotoGP World Championship in 2022, and it's also the first weekend that MotoE will be joining us as well, and we'll come on to the relevance of that in just a very few short moment time. But it's going to be a big weekend. We head into it with Fabio Quartararo back on top of the World Championship standings, but he is tied with Alex Rins, who is absolutely on fire at the moment. Alex Rins is still in charge all the way through to 4th place from the back of the grid last time out. Pretty impressive stuff indeed. But as we said then, MotoE are joining us for this one, for the first round of their season this weekend in Jerez. And who better to join us than the two-time MotoE World Cup winner, Jordi Torres. So let's say a big hello to Jordi. Hi, Jordi. How are you? Good to see you.
Good.
Finally back in action this weekend.
Yes, finally we return to the track and give us the maximum to enjoy and also to give a big show, big electrifying show.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be that. And it's much bigger than any year previous. This year you've got 14 races. It's going to be a much longer season for you. Does that make it more difficult, or is it just more to get stuck into?
No, maybe we can be better also the more longer the championship because you have more options to take more risks. But this year can be more difficult to stay on the top because more in high quality riders arrive to the category and the competitive this year can be the maximum between the last years. And this year sure was can be an exciting championship. We'll see what happens, but for sure we show a big show.
Well, you are the two-time World Cup winner, Jordi. So this year, are you going to make it 3 times, or is it going to be a bit too difficult?
Yeah, this year can be a big difficult to reach another time this objective, but for sure we try, and we try always to catch many points in all the races because at the final. Also, this year is more longer the championship, but continues to be short. But this is the most of the important in this category. Reach to catch many points, the most points than as possible in every race, and at the final to the championship, can play your cards and stay on the top. And I don't know, but for sure we try another time.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It was obviously a very dramatic end to the MotoE Championship last year, and I'm sure it's probably going to be the same this year. But coming on to the actual MotoGP fantasy part of this little live show, Jordi, have you been watching along with the races this year? Have you been seeing how it's been playing out in the championship? And if so, looking at our team, it seems as though we've got quite a few good riders. But really, is there any changes that you feel we could maybe make to this team to make it stronger?
Yeah, I think for this weekend, maybe it's a good card for sure. This for this weekend, but maybe I saw Jack Miller in this track. Don't have 100% options, but it's a good rival to reach the first position or maybe on the podium. But I want to change Jack Miller,
Okay.
and yeah, I
So
only
if we were to change Jack
I
Miller,
yeah, only
go
I
on.
want to do one change because I think the cars are very good for this weekend.
Okay, not bad, not bad. So only one change then. So if we're to change Jack Miller, what we need to look at is that Jack is 2.9 million, and we only have 300,000 remaining on top of that. So, Geordie, your choices are, if you were to take Jack Miller out, we would have to be looking at all the riders that are 3.2 million or
Yes.
less in terms of their price. So who does that leave us with? Well, it's not going to leave us with any of the guys at the top. Fabio Quartararo, Pecco Bagnaia, Johan Zarco and Aleix Spargo are all too expensive, but we could get Miguel Oliveira. Marc Marquez is obviously quite handy himself, so is Miguel Oliveira. And then all these other guys down here as well, Alex Marquez, Maverick, Franco Morbidelli, and the list goes on and on and on, pretty much all the way down to the bottom. So if you were to look at any one of these riders, who's standing out for you as your choice that you might choose to replace Jack Miller?
Yeah, my choice is Marc Marquez because you see 2 years ago here
Okay.
the pace was incredible.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. That charge through the pack
Yes.
was pretty incredible. Um, And actually, so if we're going to place Marc Marquez, it brings me on nicely to, if you're watching along on Twitch, because this is being streamed on Twitch and various other places, there will be a poll in there somewhere where you can actually choose who you think is going to be the MotoGP race winner this weekend. Obviously, Jordi seems as though he's maybe banking on Marc Marquez to win the race this weekend. But there's also Alex Rins in there, Pol Espargaro, who certainly can turn his form on at any time, and Enea Bastianini, who's been quite incredible this year. So Jordi, this weekend in Jerez, obviously, it's a track that's quite tight and tricky for MotoGP. If there's any riders that kind of spring to your mind as ones that are going to go really well here, who do you think they are?
Yeah, in here in Jerez, don't have too many straight lines, and for sure the power engine is not many important. In here in Jerez is the most important. Drive well, stay the most skin in your lane, that to be close in all the corners and touch the throttle very early. And yes, I think Honda can be able to do this, but for sure Enea start to do a great championship, and we'll see what happens. But for sure, this is the good lean for this weekend.
And as you say, it's a place where there aren't really many straights, so power isn't necessarily the top thing that you need around Jerez. So do you think that Fabio Quartararo might be able to pick up another win and go back to back here with Portimao?
Yeah, for sure, Fabio stayed there, and yes, Yamaha maybe in this track be more able to do a good lane and do a great performance. But I think Marc Marquez for this weekend have an extra because running here in Spain and want to be back more stronger and want to give one more Marc Marquez show,
Yeah,
sure.
no, we know exactly what you mean. Marc Marquez, when he's on form, is pretty unlivable. So, as you say about the bikes, actually, we'll just highlight the constructors. Of course, Jordi's elected to only make one change, but if you're playing along at home and you've already done one change, you want to make another one, it's always a good idea to make sure you have a look at the constructors as well, because there's plenty of valuable points to be picked up here. If you look at Ducati, they're quite expensive because they have 8 bikes on the grid. Suzuki are very expensive at the moment because their 2 riders are in incredible form. You can see that there with their positions that they've been having. But if you maybe need to change them out, this constructor, to free up some more money for yourself, Honda, as Jordi says, he thinks they're going to go quite well there this weekend. They're actually the cheapest manufacturer at the moment at 2.6 million. So maybe an idea to bring in someone like Honda or KTM, who's slightly cheaper as well, just to give yourself some more money for those changes. So Jordi, obviously you've done a lot of riding with normal gas-powered bikes and then also the MotoE bikes. What's the biggest difference? Obviously the noise is incredible. It's something like that you've not experienced before, but in terms of riding the bike, how does it differ?
Yeah, the most different riding the electrified bikes is the power entry, no? Because you have a continuous power on the wheel, and for sure the noise is the most biggest difference when you saw the MotoE. But when you ride at the final, you ride one bike. It's not very different, but you can be more concentrated on your lane and also try to be tight on the curves, and the real difference is you able to ride more clean because you don't have clutch or gears. You only have throttle and brakes, and with this doing the less meters than as possible or trying to be the most competitive without do too much slides or on the entry and also on the exit to lose some power horses. But this is the real difference. You ride more clean without noise, without different parts that you need to manage, and the performance for other riders is more or less the same for this because we are 100 concentrate on this. Only ride, only the lane, try to overtake, try to... also, the races are very short and you must to do very aggressive
Yeah.
until the first lap, and any lap, any turn is a possibility to overtake or other guy overtake you, and it's a big
Yeah.
fight. It's a big war. They stay there in MotoE, and it's very, very funny for the riders.
No, it definitely is. I mean, watching from the outside perspective, the MotoE races are some of the most entertaining races that we have all season long. And so having 14 of them now this year is going to give plenty of viewing action. But Jordi, as we come into round one for yourself this weekend, we'll say thank you very much for selecting the team here. Obviously, you've gone for Marc Marquez, you kept Alex Rins in, which is probably going to be a very good option. Aprilia there, which Aprilia seem to be going well everywhere this year, and then also Paul and Enea Bastianini as well. But for yourself, Jordi, just good luck this weekend, and maybe we'll see at the end of the year it'll be three-time champ Jordi Torres.
Cross fingers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jordi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So then this is the team that Jordi Torres has gone for. As we say, we just ran through it. And it's quite a good team as well. He's gone Honda heavy this time with both of the Repsol Honda team guys in there. And as we said as well, there was the poll on Twitch, if you're watching along on there, as to who you think was going to win the MotoGP race this weekend. And quite unsurprisingly, Marc Marquez has 56% of that vote. And actually, Jack Miller has 23%. Of course, he picked up that emotional first win in 5 years there last time out. So possibly Jack may be able to double up in Jerez between this year and last year. Now, it's also worth pointing out there's going to be lots of people who might not be able to afford some of the more expensive riders as we're getting through the season and those prices are going up. The prices are going up and it's making them hard to get in. We just want to point out that 2 riders on fire at the moment, the only 2 on fire, I do believe, are Alex Rins still, who was on fire last weekend, and then also Aleix Espargaro. So maybe Aleix isn't too bad of an option. Of course, 2 podiums in the last 3 races. So that's going to be it then. We'll quickly make sure that we give you a look at all the prizes that you could win, because you need to make sure that you sign up to MotoGP Fantasy. Just head to fantasy.motogp.com to be able to sign up there, and you'll be able to see all the season competition prizes that you can win. The signed helmet from Quartararo, which would be very nice indeed. A lovely laptop too, and then also a watch if you pick up the 3rd place. And then there's weekly competition prizes, so don't worry if you're not signed up already. You can sign up now and still have the chance to win something very, very nice indeed. So that is going to be it then for us with this MotoGP Fantasy preview for the Spanish GP. Jerez, it's an absolutely classic track, synonymous with MotoGP, and I'm sure it's going to bring the action indeed. Thank you very much for watching along and enjoy the racing action this weekend.